A good Monday, one and all. He is Keith Arizari. I am Mark Malusis. We are Moose and Keith, Better Sports Network. This is the Better Cast Game of the Day preview presented to you by Fantasy Alarm. Get the Fantasy Alarm All-Pro subscription by using promo code WIN at fantasyalarm.com/win. It's a little Monday night football down in the state of Florida. Jacksonville entertaining the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a heavy 10-point favorite. Are the Jags? The total in the game is sitting at 40, Keith. And you got Jake Browning taking on Trevor Lawrence.
And, you look at a Jacksonville Jaguars team, Moose, where I feel like they're going under the radar. Each and every week we're talking about, are the Ravens the best team? Kansas City's finally got a defense. The Buffalo Bills going to figure it out. Miami Dolphins, high-flying offense. Go to the NFC, the Niners, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions. And then there's just the Jaguars. Steady Eddie, winners of 7 of their last 8 games, back-to-back games. Trevor Lawrence, it seemingly is his way of living in the NFL. Struggle early in the year, finish strong, and he's doing that again. And then for the Cincinnati Bengals, listen, they were a team that we thought had a chance to be a Super Bowl contender. They're not. Your boy Joe Burrow, he's out. I know. That's a bone of contention for you. Your guy, he's out. Browning knows the offense.
He does. He's just not good.
Yeah, exactly. He can help them not get crushed necessarily, but he's not an NFL starting quarterback.
No, he's just not. And the Bengals aren't good enough defensively to make up for it. Listen, we've seen it. We saw it earlier in the season when Burrow was hurt with the calf injury and was not able to step into his throws. How'd the Bengals look? They looked dreadful.
Yeah.
They looked really bad because you know what? Joe Burrow makes everything better for the Cincinnati Bengals. And when he's out, nothing looks the same. They get a little bit healthier tonight. T. Higgins returns at wide receiver. He joins Boyd and obviously Jamar Chase. They still got Joe Mixon. We'll talk about the former Oklahoma star in a little bit here. But, the Bengals offense, everything was orchestrated around their franchise quarterback, as a lot of teams are in the National Football League. And when Burrow was lost for the season, with that wrist injury, that was pretty much all she wrote for the Cincinnati Bengals. And they go in tonight, try to play a little bit spoiler, maybe pull off an upset, a stunner as a 10-point dog going into the Monday night game as they take on Trevor Lawrence and company. Speaking of the long-haired Lawrence, the total for his yardage total tonight is 242.5 passing yards for the Jacksonville Jaguars star quarterback. I'm going to go over the total for him. Number one is, you've seen it, whether with, Press Taylor, Doug Peterson, the offense down there in Jacksonville. You mentioned it. They have high aspirations. They came into this year with the heavy expectation of winning the division. They didn't expect, obviously, C.J. Stroud to do what he has done this year for the Houston Texans. They're a heavy favorite for a reason. I think they're going to be able to throw on that Bengals secondary. Give me over 242.5 passing yards for Trevor Lawrence tonight.
Yeah, the Bengals are, 27th in the NFL against the pass. So I think that's a pretty solid play there with Trevor Lawrence. And even if, a lot of people go, but what happens if Jacksonville gets up by a really large margin and they don't need Lawrence to do much in the fourth quarter? You know what? It's probably because Lawrence did a lot in the first 3 quarters. So I like what you did there.
All right, let me ask you about I mentioned about Mixon. Let me ask you, I'm going to set the total at 46.5.
Okay.
For the Bengals running back. You like over or under?
Yeah, I like the over. And I'm not a Mixon guy per se. I think that he is definitely long in the tooth, and I think he's starting to get to the point where he's not an elite running back anymore. But 46.5 is a very attainable number for an offense that may need to rely on him. Now, listen, 13 or more carries in 9 of 11 games this season. He's averaging only 3.9 yards per carry. There's the whole, not as good as he used to be running back. But I could do math. 3.9 times 13. Let's just make it 13. Gets us to 50.7 rushing yards per contest when he gets at least 13 carries in a game. I think he gets 15 carries tonight. So give me the over 46.5. He's topped it also 7 of the 11 games this season of the Bengals. Again, I think they're going to need to rely on Mixon. And I think they just want to try to keep the ball away from Jacksonville's offense if they can.
I love it. I like that for Joe Mixon. And he's a guy that I've on fantasy teams, not been great this year. Obviously, everything changed with the Burrow injury, but I think that's a very, very attainable number on the ground when you're looking at a yardage mark for Joe Mixon. All right, we want to remind everybody, get the Fantasy Alarm All-Pro subscription. Unlike all content for all sports, including college football, get one-on-one expert access in Discord. Daily and weekly rankings, plus sports betting advice, waiver wire ownership percentages, projection stats, and tools. Get access to everything Fantasy Alarm offers all year. Use promo code WIN, W-I-N, at fantasyalarm.com/win.